Welcome back to the GSN Sports Network podcast, everybody. My name is John J. II. Thank you for inviting me into your homes, into your phone screens on this evening, the 6th of August, 2026. Wow, we're already in August. Summer's flying by. We're at Mach speeds going into the fall season. And I guess you could be sad about it. You can be melancholy about it. You can tuck your tail between your legs and get all bummed out about it. But the truth of the matter is there's no time like the present. We shone a light on that subject last week on episode 133. And we talked about how there's no time like the present. That's why they call it a gift. And the present is a gift, so that's why we call it a present. So no matter how you slice it, that's the truth of the matter. So you got to keep diving and searching and endeavoring through the void, no matter what and how fast time is moving, because there's nothing you can do about it. So we're moving fast into the fall season. We're excited. We have football coming up. We always get excited around this time of year because we have a lot of things to look forward to. We got the U.S. Open in tennis. We have MLB playoffs coming in October. We have a lot of great PGA Tour events as we wrap up the season, the FedEx Cup Championship, and obviously we got college football and NFL, which means fantasy football as well. So there's a lot to focus on, a lot to look forward to. And then after that, the beauty of that is that really brings us into the best season of them all, and that is college basketball season, which is following football season very closely. They happen to converge and overlap for a time period. But that's a beautiful thing. That's something that we enjoy. And it's a great transition from football season into college basketball season. You get into March, you get a little bit sad again. You have that pre-spring, summertime sadness type of vibes. And then you get right into summer stuff. And then we're right back basically where we're at right now. So we're kind of getting over that melancholy feeling of, okay, now we have no football, now we have no basketball. What the hell are we going to do with our lives? And it goes to show it really wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad. So it ebbs and flows. There's good times. There's bad times. There's times of melancholy. There's times of sadness. I'd say for all my Lana Del Rey people out there, we're getting into the part of the year where we're having our summertime sadness. We're getting a little bit in our feels. Summer's almost over. You kind of get into that type of vibe and get down in the dumps a little bit. But I'm going to advise you this. Rise from the dust and don't have the summertime sadness because things will get better. There's a bright horizon, rays of sunshine await us on the days ahead. So I'm looking forward to that time, and I invite you to join me in that same mentality because that's a mentality that can be infectious in a good way. So let's get into our docket for tonight. We got a couple topics. We cut back on the topics a little bit just because I like to go rogue. I like to go into the weeds and into the abyss a little bit just because that's how I like to do the show. And depending on the show, depending on the docket, depending on the topics at hand, the information that traveled across my desk and I glance my eyes at it, depending on how much we have, that allows me to either go into the weeds more or less, depending on the amount of stuff out of the docket. So the docket is light tonight, so that means we're going to go into the weeds, and we're going to have some fun tonight. So I'm looking forward to it. First of all, though, Caitlin Clark is under fire after Sophie Cunningham came out against the trans athlete issue. Now, this really shouldn't be an issue. This is not controversial. For people that think it is, then they're the problem. Okay, they're the ones that are the problem. If they think it's controversial, if they think this is something that should be a discussion, we're talking about professional women's sports. I don't care if we're talking about softball, I don't care if we're talking about golf, basketball, and we're talking in professional sports. These athletes, Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark's getting under fire about it too, and the craziest thing about it is they never came out and said it blatantly. They're more or less traveling around the issue, and I think they're shining light on even more so than professional women's sports, which obviously is an issue as well to have this take place. But if you're seeing this thing happen in high school sports. We've seen it happen, take place in college sports. Okay, going into the ranks and into the other ways of the world, into eventually professional sports. It is a problem. It is a problem. If you can't acknowledge it's a problem, then you have a problem with yourself and with your own mentality. So there's certain mentalities when it comes to what is black and white, what is in front of us, what can we look to the books on, and an unbiased, completely objective point of view on something that is broken down to our DNA. And you're talking about athleticism, athletic males versus athletic females, athletes that are males, athletes that are females. This should not be a debate. This should not be a discussion. Okay, now I understand that's a hot take to some people, but you got to understand the DNA, understand the genealogy, because these things, they're not biased. Okay, and this mentality of acceptance, especially in high school and college sports, which is the most biggest problem, and people aren't putting their foot down about it. Girls are being hurt or injured by the neglect to look at this and call a spade a spade. That's a problem. That's a problem, and has to be dealt with. So who cares? Who cares if a player says something about it, rises up about it, and talks about something that's pertinent to their sport, to their activity that they're taking part in? If they have 2 cents to throw into the bucket and say, this is how I feel about a certain issue, then I think they have the right to do that. In this case, Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark, whether or not she has chose to speak on the issue or not, I guess is up for debate. But I know this is a very hot button issue, but it shouldn't be. This shouldn't be a hot button issue. This shouldn't be something that is surrounding the airwaves constantly, because it shouldn't be controversial. And I want all the smoke with people that think that this is controversial, because I got some things to say to you if you do. And the problem is, a lot of people are scared to bring it up. A lot of people are scared to talk about it. And you shouldn't be. This is talking about human anatomy. It's talking about athletics. This is talking about women and girls are at risk of being injured severely, especially if you're talking about combat sports. Come on. We have to draw the line in the sand somewhere. And don't get me wrong. There's sports like volleyball, softball, etc., where I would say that women are more talented in those areas compared to men, but still you bring it down to the athletic ability of a man compared to a woman. It's no brainer. It's black and white, and women will say that. Women athletes will say that. Perfect classic interview where Serena Williams said, "Hey, I'd lose 6-6 in a 2-set match, or 6-0, 6-0, 6-0 in a men's match with 3 sets." Best of 3 sets. It would happen that way against a man. And that's just the truth of the matter. That's the reality of the situation, because it's a different game. Now, you're talking about an elegant game and not even a contact type sport like tennis. It's elegant sport. It's a sport of class, which we've talked about in the past. And it'd still be that way. There'd still be that difference in athletic ability. And not even athletic ability. It comes down to power. It comes down to brute strength. It comes down to how the game is played. And it's just unbelievable that this is even a conversation. But the other thing I wanted to say about this, and kind of speaking to the tagline here on the screen, players over politics. People that watch sports, it's the same thing like we watch the Academy Awards, we watch all these movies that they make in Hollywood and all over the world now. We want to watch them for what they're good at. We don't need to dabble in. And this is pertinent. This is different than what's going on here in the Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark situation with the trans athletes. That's a different issue because it's pertinent to the athletes themselves. Now, when you're talking about issues that are not pertinent to the sport, to the individual themselves, or to anything in relation to the individual that is in a certain field or profession that's speaking out on political issues, whether it's social justice related, whether it's about fiscal policy, whether it's about immigration, whatever. Stay in your own damn lane, because we want to watch you for what you're good at, for what you've made your claim to fame to be. We're watching you for that. If we want to watch and take part in all the crooks in Washington and all the corruption over there, then we can do that by listening to the people themselves. Okay, now I totally, wholeheartedly believe that there are good-hearted politicians out there. Let them do their job. Let them take it to the House Judiciary Committees and all the various committees where they can have people be questioned and have the book be thrown at them figuratively. And it's a lot of fun to watch. Sometimes you can watch for the entertainment factors. But the moral of the story is we're getting into the weeds too much. We're talking about this for too long. If you're an athlete, be an athlete. Divert the question. If it's something you don't feel comfortable talking about, divert the question. You're not under the gavel. You can plead the fifth. Pull a Fauci. Plead the fifth and don't even talk about it. Because what you're going to do is you're going to alienate one side of the world or one side of your fan base, and you're going to make another area of your fan base adore you. But the thing is, we talked about this. I was on a forum the other day talking about Kid Cudi. Okay, and it was a video of The Pursuit of Happiness or something. One of his early music videos came up on my feed when I was doom scrolling. And I commented, I miss pre-liberal Cudi, because Kid Cudi was one of those guys that I looked up to big time. And I still do in a major way. But it's all these individuals. A lot of times it's artists. Okay? Sometimes you see it with actors. Sometimes you see it with professional athletes. But they take a stance politically. It's like, why? Why do you do it? Because now you're alienating a whole section of your fan base. Just don't do it. Retain the people that are your true fans, because it's just as superficial on both sides. They're showing their partiality towards a political belief, right? And then the fans, which are true fans, are going to look down upon you or agree with you. It's one or the other. And they're going to now look at you not for your ability as an artist or a professional athlete or whatever you are. They're going to judge you by your politics. So it's a double-edged sword. Just don't do it. It doesn't make sense. The win-to-loss ratio is not there. And the risk is not worth the reward. That's all I got to say. Moving on, talking about Jahmyr Gibbs. He gets the 3-year extension for $67.5 million, now being the highest paid running back in the NFL. Now we're seeing this happen. We're seeing this take place year after year. We're seeing salary caps be pushed to the limits, absolutely to the brim. And we're seeing this happen in the NFL more than we've ever seen. Now, you're looking at the Tariq Skubal deal in the MLB. A little bit of a different story there. No salary cap at the MLB, which I can foresee at some point in the future they're going to put an end to that. Just because you're looking at clubs, teams, become super clubs. We talk about super clubs, we're talking about soccer, but the same can be said when we're talking about baseball. And that's kind of that's just how it is. That's what it's becoming, and it's getting a little bit muddled as far as the talent. And we're seeing that happen everywhere. We're seeing it happen in the NBA. We're seeing it happen in college sports, which just breaks my heart to see. We're seeing it in the NBA. We're seeing it now in the NFL. So it is what it is. It's going to happen, but there's got to be rules. There's got to be checks and balances to make it work, because it has worked. We're seeing the system get too materialized. We're seeing it go too much in a direction of let's chase the money. Let me listen to my agent. I might not even want to leave. Okay, I might not even give a shit about the money. I might be happy with the millions I'm already making. Okay, I'm surviving. I'm living fine. I'm paying my bills. I'm enjoying myself. I'm popping bottles on the weekends when I'm not in season. Maybe you are in season. You're popping bottles, you're doing your thing. They might have a certain connection to a club where they want to stay, but it's outside their control if their agent holds the gavel above them. They're essentially the judge, jury, and executioner of that player's future. So we see that happen a lot. I think it works in Gibbs's favor in this case. Detroit loves Gibbs. Detroit knows that it's in their best interest to throw them all the money in the world at Gibbs. They know that he is probably going to make the Detroit Lions franchise his franchise. They know he's going to do that. We've seen some core players leave. But listen, they have a lot of their core guys. And it's going to hurt to see some of these guys go, especially for Lions fans, And I can feel it a little bit because I see it every day, day in, day out. I'm listening. I'm in forums. I'm on Reddit. I'm on Twitter. I'm in different group chats. I'm talking to people, and I feel the emotions. I hear the things that they're saying. But this is a big win for Detroit. So to keep and retain Gibbs, it's worth the money. I think Robert would even say it's worth throwing the money at him. And you just got to wait and see and hope that their window of opportunity hasn't closed yet. So for my Lions fans out there, they're happy with this news. This is a breath of fresh air. This is something they're excited about. And hopefully it can pay off for them. You want to ask and talk about a guy, if there was anybody on that Detroit Lions roster that deserved history to be made with a max payout, it would be Jahmyr Gibbs, because he put his heart and soul out there on the field when maybe not everybody was performing to their highest ability. He did his thing, and he really put that team on his back on multiple occasions. So give the man the bag, and he deserves it. He deserves it. Okay, so I just got to tell the people, I did play golf today. I did. And I had a lot of fun. But I played like shit. And that's just the reality of the situation. Let's read that tagline together. When you suck, deal with it. Okay? This is not an easy thing to do. This is something that's a lot easier said than done. And I can be the first to say it because I've played like shit before. I've also played well. I know what it feels like to play well. So that's the problem with golf, is once you play, you'll play. It won't be that good. And then you'll kind of reach a threshold where you'll start to incrementally increase in your ability to play the game. Then it becomes fun. Then you get gravitated towards the game, towards investing more money, more time, more resources towards the game, towards being better, towards being more competitive, and just towards being in that atmosphere more often. So then once you get to a certain point, you plateau. And that's kind of where I've been, I'd say, for the better part of the last year or two. Now I'm starting to break. It's starting to really break through of what the issues are, what the core issues are. I'm hitting really good shots as far as contact goes and as far as mechanic-wise. But when it comes to direction, when it comes to certain portions of the shot, they're just not there, and they're core parts that have to be there for the shot to be well and for me to hit good shots. So, but that's kind of the point of the tagline. When you suck, deal with it. Because if you're going to suck, you got to keep playing. You got to keep putting your best effort forward. You got to still practice. You still got to put the time in to try to be better, because you will eventually, and I'm speaking, proactively and predictively into the future. I'm looking into my crystal ball when I'm saying this. And that is, you will get to a point where you will eventually reach that next echelon. You'll break through to the next level of success or of just playing ability. Just playing the game. You have to play the game to increase in your ability first and foremost, even if you're not getting better week after week, even if you have a great range session and you feel great, you feel like your swing is where you want it to be, you feel like you got everything figured out, you're finding the slot with ease, you're getting the hands through the ball, your hands are where you want them to be, your shoulders are square, you're hitting a square in the face, and then you go out and play like shit. So it's just one of those things that's frustrating. We've seen it happen with Bryson. Okay, a couple weeks ago, he played very well in the Open. Okay, and then now it didn't really end up how he wanted it to. Had a bad two-stroke penalty, which may or may not have been bullshit, right? But be it as it may, these players have to deal with it. Even the best of the best have to deal with it. So if they can do it, so can we. And for them to reach that echelon of golf of being a professional golfer and then also dealing with it. Obviously, it's on a different scale than it is for an amateur, but they're dealing with it nonetheless. If you can break through and if they can break through and fight through that bullshit, then the amateur can as well. And I'm here to reassure you of that. Yeah. It can be done. It can be done. And I'm speaking, like I said, I haven't seen the fruits of it yet where I'm really breaking through and I'm really feeling good about my game. And it's a consistent thing where I can go to bed, wake up, take essentially virtually 0 swings, maybe hit a couple putts, maybe a couple chips. But then I hit the first tee and then I play throughout the round and I just feel good about it. I just want to feel good about it. And I think that's what everybody wants. Whether you want to break 80 or people want to break 100, people want to break 50 for 9, then you have those goals, you have those certain levels that you want to reach. You just have to understand that the further you get down the line, the harder golf will get. The more things you will figure out are broken with your swing. And the harder it is to reach that next echelon in your game. You will realize all these things, but they're all blessings nonetheless. So take them all with a grain of salt, take them all with pride and ambition, and you'll be just fine. It appears that Live Golf has acquired a new investor after the Saudis said, you know what, we're going to back out of this. We don't see the money in it. We don't see the hype. It's obviously subservient to the PGA Tour. We're out of here. So that's a big red flag right then and there. Any investor, anybody else that has any money, even remotely a fraction of what the Saudis have, they got to understand they got there for a reason unless they got daddy's money. And they got to understand that if they're putting their money in a dying league, then that's a bad investment. So it looks like Live is on the rise for now. But how long will that last? Only time will tell. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, though, because it's a proven fact that the Live Tour is a subservient tour to the PGA Tour. It's just the way it is. I don't make the rules. I just deliver them. I deliver the messages. That's what I do. I'm a messenger. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've been rambling long enough. I know it's late. It's now 12:03 on the East Coast, so I got to get to bed. I'll let you guys go. Make sure to check us out on the web, ginsportsnetwork.com. Find us on IG at ginsportsnetwork. Find us on Twitter at ginpros. And find me on Twitter and IG at gincommish. Let's continue the conversation there. For now, I'm John Jay II with the Gin Sports Network podcast. We'll see you here next time. Have a great night.